Yeah, I could probably figure this out if there was a ring anywhere. Oh my god. That's a good clip. Hi, I'm FodderCannonn, and I like learning speedruns. The last several months of my life have been spent dedicated to Twilight Princess, and if you don't know, that game is hard. Oh my god, the bird! It's a 3-hour trick gauntlet that constantly tests your attention and will, and every single mistake can be very costly. The process for learning this game was very tough, and it got to be too much for me. So one day, I made a very bold decision. There is no Zelda! I lied! Being the variety speedrunner that I am, I wanted to try something different. And when I pick up a new game, I want to experience the whole game. Sonic Adventure DX is structured into different phases or stories where you play as 7 different characters. The category I'm going for is called All Stories, where you do all the stories. Metal Sonic. Sonic's story is the longest and the hardest. So we are going to start our experience with the Blue Blur himself.
Too easy.
I spent the entire dude setting up that bit. I watched like half of a tutorial. So half of it is going to be me looking at a tutorial off to the side while I'm playing and just having the timer running. We start off the run with Chaos Zero, who is kind of the tutorial boss, and he's a total pushover. You just hit him 3 times and then you move on to Emerald Coast. What I would give to play this for the first time again. Seeing all of the lush greens in the beach, and jumping around, killing monkeys and rhinoceros tanks, and just having a great time as Sonic. And then a fucking killer whale made me shit my pants. I think that gave me some serious trauma as a kid, but you know what? I'm not gonna talk about it. Moving on. All of Sonic's levels are just get to the end of the stage as fast as possible. And because this game is level-based, that means you're basically doing a bunch of mini speedruns in a row. And each level has their own individual strategy. So you can kind of pick and choose which tricks you want to learn. For example, Emerald Coast is one of the hardest stages in the game for a speedrunner, but if you decide not to do some of the harder tricks, you probably only lose about a minute to the fastest route. Oh, well. Monkey just murdered me. What if I just die? Goodbye, world. Nice, alright. I need to actually jump. One thing that I already like about this game, gaming over doesn't take 5 fucking years. One thing I've forgotten about playing this game casually is just how broken the geometry is. Basically, any surface that isn't completely vertical, Sonic is able to run on. So you can just spin dash up a cliff face. No, I gotta get in the speed hole. I kinda just want to play this game casually. Bringing back so many memories. I died. Once we finish Emerald Cove and save Tails from his failed kamikaze attempt, we take a little detour and get the crystal ring from the hotel lobby, which is a good time to talk about the invisible walls, because they are everywhere. Oh, I see.
It's one of those things, so with practice, you should be...
This is what speedrunning really is.
How to get the Chaos Ring early as a beginner, but I'll show you...
Now it's time for Egg Horny. The only real trick to Egg Hornet is to spam the A button as fast as possible, because you can effectively stun lock him and get the 1 cycle. It kind of feels bad that he's the first real boss of the game besides Chaos Zero, but it's also kind of on brand for Eggman. I'm sorry, Dr. Robotnik. You know you're our favorite pushover.
No!
Yo! It's the Explorer guy!
put it in, hop in this pit.
This is my favorite Sonic character, this guy right here. The Explorer guy. He's my favorite. If you're familiar with Sonic Adventure DX speedrunning, then you know Wind Valley. Why? Because of the absolute banger song. But also because the walls and kill planes just kind of don't exist. Basically, like all good 3D platforming developers back in the day, Sega had all of the assets from the hero stories loaded at the same time on a level. So you can clip into a specific spot on this wall and then get to a part you're not supposed to be on and do a couple more jumps and skip the entire first part of the level. Help him, Tails! You're supposed to be helping me, damn it. Instead of just standing there. What does Tails even do? There we go. The big skip in this level comes in the second half, where you effectively jump off the side of the track into a void and land right on top of the Chaos Emerald.
And you're gonna want to aim yourself a little bit towards this dark cloud right here, a little bit left of that, and just hold straight forward. And then you'll just drop it
Alright.
here a little bit left.
Which dark cloud are you talking about, Mr.
Ring under
There's the dark cloud, I found it.
I'll show that section. You hit this checkpoint,
What the fuck?
Level. So I'll show that section one more time.
You know, that dark cloud that everybody talks about, that one?
Dash jump.
No one has given me a straight answer on this, but I'm pretty convinced that the texture under the stage rotates and the reference point is different every time. So you kind of just have to trust you're going in the right direction. I'm pretty sure the sprite is like turned 45 degrees or 90 degrees on his game compared to mine. I think I figured out the great mystery. My compy is haunted. Ben died. Tails died. Oh? I got it. Nice. All right, I'm moving on. After finally looking at the correct dark cloud and collecting the next Chaos Emerald, we go back into the city, into the stinky sewers, and pick up the light shoes, which, after a short charge-up period, let you dash across a row of rings. Sun tights. And we need these shoes to get into Casinopolis, right? Wrong. So the only required use of the light shoes comes later in the run. And the most broken thing about Sonic's movement is that he can charge a spin dash and then immediately jump up a slope to transfer all of his momentum into the air, shooting you way further than you're supposed to go. So we can do a specific lineup against the stairs into the train terminal and launch yourself into the button without having to use the light shoes. Now for the cool casino level. Hold on, can we just appreciate the soundtrack a little bit for a second? That is funky. Aw, man, this is the level where you have to go around collecting a ton of rings to make a ramp up to the Chaos Emerald, isn't it? Isn't this gonna be slow and tedious? Nope, it's over in 20 seconds. Because remember, walls don't exist. If you spin dash into this pillar and hold A, you spin dash hover and land under the room. And you can spin dash jump above the invisible ceiling and get the Chaos Emerald.
So, you're gonna wanna come on these coins and angle out.
You're gonna what on the coins? Yo, there we go. Nice. And with Casino finished in a way that's definitely faster if you do it right, we grab our ice butt plug and make our way to Ice Cap. We're only an hour behind the world record and I'm on the 4th level, so, you know, high hopes. Yo, snowboarding? It's time to snowboard. And now I know what you're thinking. Woo, I love snowboarding. It's the best thing about this game. Me too, brother. Yeah, snowboarding. But like we mentioned earlier, walls don't exist. There we go. Nice. After Ice Cap is a bit of a break in the run. Oh, no time. The epic boss fight. The Knuckles.
Oh no.
What's up, Knuckles?
We smack the Oh No Man, beat a pretty mid Chaos 4, behold Eggman's floating mass, and sit through a rail shooter that can be solved by going upright. Yeah, that's it. That's the trick. With a bit of a stretch break and watching Tails and Sonic get shot by a giant railgun just to walk away with some minor injuries, we meet up with Amy and go to Twinkle Park. I cannot explain in words the amount of frustration I had as a little 7-year-old fodder. Sure, the computer told you what to do, but I couldn't read. And even as an adult, knowing what I could do, I cannot be saved by these cheating monkeys. Most of the advice is just avoid them, lol, but they will chase you down to the ends of the earth. Then I played Sonic Rush. That was the other one. Dude, bullied. Okay. How do you avoid that? How do you avoid getting bullied? Holy shit, gangbang. Get me out of there. My life flashed before my eyes. These fucking carts. No, run. Run away from the demon carts. What the hell? What? What are the AI in these fucking carts? The demon monkeys. Oh my god. Oh my. That's purple. That's black. Where's that blue? I guess I'll never find out. Once we get past this cart gauntlet, we do a little manipulation to skip half the level out of the roller coaster. Then we can do some spin jumps onto the roof and get into the capsule. I have a lot of good memories of Speed Highway, but I don't really remember it being this short. Maybe I'm shoving it together with the one from Sonic Adventure 2, but anyway. We do a couple spin jumps into a spin hover that run down the side of a building, which is admittedly very badass. And then we do some more spin jumps and jump onto the capsule. Speed is on the highway. After Speed Highway, we go to look for Amy, which leads us back to the ancient ruins, where we see her getting kidnapped by a sentient blender. And that takes us into... A lot of the movement in this game really does boil down to spin jumping and trying not to fall into all the void zones, which can be very scary, but this game is pretty generous with lives. Just make sure you pay attention to your life counter, because no matter how many checkpoints you get, you'll be starting back in the beginning if you run out of lives.
Here's where you're gonna want to quickly switch to free.
Huh? Nice, I remember this soundtrack. There we go. Bangers only, honestly.
A little bit tricky jump for...
Nice.
Right.
Red Mountain. Get up there. Jesus.
Once again, for Sky Chase Act 2, you can...
With Red Mountain completed, we go on to the second rail shooter minigame, which, again, the only time you actually have to give input in this level is at the very end, where you have to destroy the laser. But you can kind of just fly in the middle and spam A. It doesn't matter if you get hit by the beam or not. Even though the song is one of my favorites of a Sonic level, it does not redeem this dogshit level in any way. So much of a nightmare as it is casually, it is not redeemed by the speedrun at all. They basically capitalize on the drug-induced question of, what if every platform was super narrow and the level is 90% kill plane? Oh, and the places you want to jump on? Let's just shove a bunch of enemies on there with spikes on it. Fuck.
Oh, no.
Anyway, in part 1 of the level, there is a pretty precise jump that lets you skip some platforming. Part 2 is pretty unremarkable, except for these fucking falling platforms. No way. Wow, that sucks. In part 3, you can do some pretty free spin jumps on the skips and most of the gravity changing gimmick. Dude, why is there like an invisible wall above the switch? And once we finally put this turd of a level behind us, we end up on the egg carrier. As much as I hated Skydeck, the egg carrier as an overworld was my favorite. With the gold and red colors and the aesthetic of Eggman is just so perfect. I think this was the coolest hub in the game, this room here. I remember liking this a lot. After we put the robot in his place, Eggman gets baby rage and sets his ship to self-destruct. Also, why does Amy have a thing for robots? Anyway, we go into the captain's quarters and use one of the balls from our light dash charge to change the ship back to normal. Then it's on to Chaos 6. This boss also isn't much of a challenge. You just kind of homing attack the robots, yeet them in the chaos, and then homing attack chaos.
No way! I can't believe this!
Did I go the wrong way? I went the wrong way. Get the fuck in there, Sonic. I used to give Lost World a lot of shit as a level, and don't get me wrong, it's still pretty bad, but not nearly as bad as Skydeck. So after you go into the hole and through the fire tunnel, you can perform Snake Skip, where you do some spin jumps on top of the giant snake head and abuse some geometry to get to the top platform and skip riding the snake 3 times. I did it! Oh, but what about the keys? Did I mention walls don't exist?
And it will clip you through the door.
Alright, cool. The one really scary part of this level is the mirror room, which needs no explanation. No! No! Then we get a little Indiana Jones action and do yet another spin jump, but this time with sideways gravity. With Lost World behind us, we watch Fodder struggle with some very basic movement and solve a very hard puzzle. I did it. And we enter into the final level of the run, appropriately named Final Egg. This is another level that I used to hate on a lot, but honestly it may be my favorite in the speedrun. Music is pretty good, it's fast, and you don't actually have to do any of the annoying bullshit because of a few pretty good skips. Part 1 is basically normal, but part 2 is where the jank begins. Cool! I managed to miss every single platform. Very cool. So this little ramp you come down to just to spin dash back up, and it gives you the perfect position to do, you guessed it, another spin jump to skip the entire level.
Then you just want to angle yourself back in, and you can just fall right into
Nice. And you'll never guess what we're gonna do in part 3. Nice, and that's the end of the level, right? Yep, there you go. Egg fucking Viper. I have a confession to make. I don't think I've ever actually beaten this game before speedrunning it, because this boss is one of the scariest and most frustrating final bosses of any Sonic game, maybe of any video game. You have a very limited space to run around in. You have to jump over the void to hit him, and he does a fake out death that can kill you.
Oh!
Oh my god. But that was then, and this is now. I'm here, Eggman, and I'm coming for you. Cue the epic music.
All systems, full power.
There was a ring anywhere. You didn't see that. Cue the epic music.
Get a load of this. Get a load of this. Get a load of this. Get a No way! I can't believe this!
Woo! All right, now I need to shave off an hour to get in the top 10. Bro,